My intention for this video was to be very short and precise. I also wanted to shoot it outside, but I've got too many things I need to do at the moment, so that's why we're in here. And I guess today's subject is all about the FujiFilm XT3. Now, Fuji loaned me this camera a couple of weeks back for a few days, and I had some great fun and great time with it. I managed to shoot a short video, a little campaign kind of shoot, and I just had some family photos that I took with the wife down on the south coast, which came out pretty cool. So what I want to do today is just do a super short kind of a review to let you guys know how I got on with the camera, and maybe I've picked up some things that you guys might find interesting if you're looking to buy one of these cameras. The first subject I want to talk about is the camera body. Now, the body on the XT3 hasn't changed a whole lot. It still looks very similar to what the XT2 looks like. The major difference, I suppose, within the body itself is it's slightly taller because now it accommodates a headphone jack within the camera body rather than using a grip, what we had to do on XT2. But hold that thought, we'll talk about the grip a bit further on. Yeah, so in terms of body size, it's very similar. Like side by side, you can't really tell a difference between the two. There is a few little small changes though, and that's because there's a slight different, well, there's a lower ISO base value now. So obviously on the ISO dials, we can now go down to 160 rather than 200. And that's about it. That headphone jack and that's pretty much the difference between the XT2 body and the XT3 body. And I guess this now brings me on to my next point. I feel like we no longer really need the battery grip. Well, we definitely don't need it to push the capabilities of the XT3. We're still going to need it for the battery life because unfortunately that's still something that's an issue. But when it comes to the actual power of the XT3, and you know, when you switch over to boost mode, the XT3 has it already on lock. I think mechanically it can shoot 11 frames per second, you can shoot 20 frames per second on electronical shutter, and I think also you can go up to 30 frames per second electronical shutter internally without no battery grip, but you get a crop factor. Now that is a big difference for me personally, but once again, hold that thought because we'll talk about that a bit later on. So I guess the big question is what did I like about the XT3? Now, me personally, I love the fact that now we do not need to use the battery grip, or I didn't need to use the battery grip anyway. As long as you've got spare batteries, we don't need to use a battery grip for the power of the camera, as in the frames per second, as in the extended video record times and things like that. That makes a big difference for me, for the fact that now I can go and actually travel with a camera that is actually compact, that is actually small. The problem with the XT2, sorry, is when I added my grip to it and the microphone on top, it became a big camera, a lot bigger than my Sony A7, which was the whole reason why I was going for the Fuji XT2 in the first place, to cut down even more size and the footprint. But yeah, so the XT3 has trumped the XT2 in that aspect. Now we can walk around with just our camera body and get amazing results. As you can probably tell, it's a few hours later now because unfortunately my battery ran out in my Fuji and I forgot to charge my other 6 batteries because I've been out on a shoot recently. So let's continue anyway. So I guess the next point I want to bring across is how good the autofocus is now on the XT3. It's so good that I was shooting away video and in photography, so much so that I completely forgot that I was just using autofocus. I'm so used to personally using manual focus, and this kind of took that away from me. So I kind of felt like I was on holiday or vacation, so to speak, while I was taking photos. It just made the whole job a lot more easier, and in turn, I took a lot more images. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, we'll find out. But yeah. And the great thing about it is, I would say 98% of those images were in perfect sharpness. They were really in focus. So yeah, really like that. And one other thing I really liked about the XT3 is the quite obvious dynamic range difference between that and the XT2. Now, I did have them side by side. If I do find a video of that, I'll show that up now. But I don't remember where I put that video. But yeah, side by side, you could quite easily see the difference in dynamic range. And it's really weird because they was both at the same ISO and the same settings, but the XT3 just had that extra bit of latitude. So if dynamic range is what you're looking for, as we all are, the XT3 definitely has that in the bag. Finally, I just want to touch a little tiny bit into the video capabilities of the XT3. Now we know the bit rate and the color depth is absolutely on point. We know we have longer record times now, but one thing people are not really talking about is the natural extra latitude that's coming out of this brand new sensor. The latitude, the extra dynamic range is quite impressive, quite impressive over the XT2. And having a lower base ISO, I noticed that there was a lot less noise. Now I shot a whole video down on the beach in the South Coast, and that was shot at varying ISOs, and I noticed there was a lot less noise on the XT3 files than there was on the XT2. So very impressed. Now the whole time that I had the camera, I decided to shoot in F-Log. I tried a few of the other film simulations, but other than Eterna, there wasn't much anything different compared to the other cameras. So regards to that, it's the same as the XH1, it's the same as the XT2. But the F-Log is a complete different beast. The F-Log had so much more latitude than the F-Log in my XT2, and yeah, it just looked superb. I don't know what they've done with the algorithm of this F-Log, but I must admit, I feel like it's the best log file I've seen on these kind of mirrorless cameras. So yeah, absolutely blown away by it. Very low noise, great exceptional video, photos, fantastic. So yeah, I guess that's all I have to say on this very short hands-on review of the FujiFilm XT3. Who is this camera for? This camera, I guess, is for me. It's definitely for the person that likes to travel light. It's for the person that doesn't want to compromise so much and wants the best image quality in photos as well as in videos, all within the one body, and the ability to capture it at the best possible way. So if you're an XT2 user, moving up to the XT3 is kind of a no-brainer. It's definitely worth the upgrade. It all just comes down to your finances at that particular time. So then, I guess that's a wrap. I hope you guys enjoyed this form factor kind of review. I hope it was informative, and that maybe you may not have learned something new, but I learned something new testing out the XT3, and I just wanted to give you guys my experience, my hands-on experience of this camera. So stay tuned, because next week I want to talk about the particular lens I had on this camera. I had a few lenses from Fujifilm to test, but this one particular lens became such an addiction for me that I did not take it off the camera whatsoever. So next week I'm going to put out a video there on my addictive, or my addiction, what should I call it? The most addictive Fujifilm lens. Let's call it that. And also the week after that, there'll be a lot more adventures. Reason being, by the time you're watching this video, or maybe the next one, I should already be in the Alps in Switzerland, enjoying some crazy adventures, which obviously I'm going to be showing on this channel. So make sure you stick around, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell if you like, and I will catch you guys in the near future. Happy hunting.